Hey everybody, I'm Tim here with Laurel Tilley from Macanudo, and today we're talking about critics.
Yes.
Criticism.
They're everywhere.
Everywhere. And you're watching Cigars Daily. Like there was one guy that came in and he didn't tell me what shop he was at, which I really respected. And he was like, hey, this other shop told me not to come over here. I was like, oh, that's a shame. That we get that sometimes. Why is that? The guy said not to buy into your bull. And that you don't know anything about cigars, and that you're a con artist. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a pretty strong opinion that he shared with you about me. That, you know, I don't even know who this is. That clearly doesn't know me or does and just thinks I'm terrible. Anyway, that was the one thing about doing all the content stuff. People are going to think you're the devil. Like, I've been accused of being both a right-wing nut job by people in the Cigars Daily Nation Facebook group who are angry because I let people post pictures of their hunting kills with a cigar. So a guy goes shoot a deer and then put a cigar like by the deer's face, take a picture.
I mean, like,
and I let them post that.
I'm not a hunter, but I also want to accuse somebody of being.
So I won't delete those, and because of that, I'm a right-wing, racist, Trumpist, whatever guy. And then on the other side, I've been accused of being an anti-Second Amendment socialist.
What?
By the people in the same group who were upset because my moderators deleted their posts of their Trump cigars during the election. When they were like, Trump's going to win this, your feelings, Trump cigar. And there's a no religion or politics rule in the group, so their stuff gets deleted. So I'm comfortable being called anything by people.
So somebody was talking about you the other day, not in like, you know, bad spirits or anything. And I was like, people who want to complain about other people, they need to take a hard look at what they're doing and say, what can I do differently? I was like, anybody who wants to bitch because somebody else is doing something, I was like, they don't like it because they're mad that they didn't do it and they haven't found success in it. Because they were talking highly of you. They're like, yeah, Tim has really found his niche and like he's really taken it and, you know, kind of gotten his stride and figured out what works for him. And I was like, yeah, and he's like, anyone who wants to bitch. I'm like, but when people complain, it is simply because they're mad that they didn't think of it first or they're not successful about it. Like,
absolutely.
Reflect on your own shit.
Yes.
Let's reflect and turn it back on yourself and say, what can I do to be better? Or what can I do to be competitive?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, do you have enough courage to look in the mirror with the same like objective
lens.
truth? Yeah, the same lens and look in the mirror and say, okay, does this apply to me? And it's easy on the internet because nobody's going to hold you accountable for anything you say and do, right? You're going to throw some hate at somebody and maybe you feel a little bit better, and so that's why you do it. But my view online has always been that there's different types of criticism. And so for me, and I filter everything through this, there's 4 different types of criticism. And I talk about this with other content creators when they call and they'll message and say, help me out with my platform and stuff. And even another company that made an accessory that launched it and had some kickback, I was talking to them about this. I said, imagine if you could fill a stadium with everybody who knows about your product. Everybody, just not your customers, just the people who are aware. Then you could split them into 4 segments. On one side, you would have the people who love you, the people who are in your corner, and they'll love you no matter what, right? And then clear on the other side, you've got people that hate you for whatever reason that is. They just don't, maybe they hate your face. They just don't like you, right?
They've determined that they do not accept who you are and it will never change.
And that will never change. And then in the middle, you've got people who don't like you, but for a reason. You're like, well, he said this about, you know, Maduro cigars, and I really like Maduros, and I don't like it. So those people hate for, and then people who like you for a reason. They're like, I really like the way that there's a thin blue line flag or whatever. It's going to be like, and those people can shift one way or another. And so when it comes to the 4 segments of audience, there's different places that criticism come from, especially on the negative side. So here's my 4 different types of criticism. So there is what I call constructive criticism. Everybody calls it that, right? You know, here's how you make it better. Great one that I've seen on the channel is, Tim, you need to center that sign behind your studio. Because if you look at the camera frame, it's not actually centered. It's further over on your side of the frame.
Like not trying to be a dick, but just saying like, hey, from an aesthetic standpoint.
It's kind of off, man. And so eventually when I get around to it, I will move it. So that's constructive criticism. That's helpful, right? And then there's non-constructive founded information. It's not helpful, it's true and accurate, but like, Tim,
not necessary.
Your ears aren't the same shape and you have a giant gap between your teeth and it's ugly as hell. Right? Like, that is true, but also
unnecessary.
Not really helpful in any way. So it's unfounded or founded unconstructive. Then there's unfounded, unconstructive stuff. Like, Tim, you're racist. Well, that's not true, and it's not helpful, and there's no good about it.
Yeah.
And then there's compliments, which everybody gets compliments at some point. But
Yeah.
those are sort of the filter that I put it through. Like, okay, what is this person's goal? Is the goal to be helpful? Because if the goal is to be helpful, then maybe there's a pellet of truth in here I can pull out. Otherwise, is this person just trying to throw in the fan?
Yeah, are you just trying to start something?
Yeah, and that's the internet in a nutshell, right?
Yeah, and I don't know, and I don't try to be like sensitive about it because I understand the internet can just be, it runs wild.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've done lives and stuff before where people have commented on the color of my shirt. Oh, that's not a good color for you. Or I don't like your hair.
Yeah.
Or your earrings are distracting. And I'm like, I don't want to be a dick and be like, well, oh well. But and it's hard because I let it roll off because I'm like, okay, you don't like the color of my shirt, whatever. But like that shit sticks with you. And then I go to like choose my shirt for this interview. I'm like, well, are people gonna hate this color?
Yeah. Do you ever notice like someone will say something about a shirt and 3 weeks later you're like, you know what? I haven't worn that shirt since. Is that because of that comment that I'm like choose other shirts other than that one? I keep going past it in the closet.
Yeah, and it's hard because you obviously want to make sure that everybody likes your content or they like you, and you can't please everybody. But I mean, I can't imagine being like a celebrity and having to just deal with the mental toll that it takes. I think about that, not like I ever would have the opportunity to be a celebrity, but I really respect and can appreciate the people who just want those private lives, like the people who aren't on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and they sort of keep their lives separate. Like, I don't think that I could ever have to deal with those comments, even if 90% of them were positive, just the people, throwing this at you, knowing nothing about you or your life, and just that mental toll that it has to take. And then people saying like, oh, boo-hoo, you're a celebrity, deal with the comments.
Right. Yeah, and I have a question about Macanudo with this because even if you or I are never celebrities in the proper sense, right?
Yeah.
You represent Macanudo, which is easily in the world of cigars a celebrity brand. It's a household name for cigar smokers. Everybody knows about Macanudo. You have to have heard some shade from people at events or stuff like that about Macanudo. Do you ever get that?
Yeah. I mean, people don't usually say it directly to me, but
does it come through roundabout ways?
Yeah.
Like you're in the lounge and there's a guy in the corner. He's like.
Yeah, it'll be more like, oh, Macanudo, they're too mild, or, Yeah. Usually it's not too aggressive.
Sure.
And if people do feel that way, like I said, they usually won't say it directly to me, but sometimes be like, oh, Macanudo, I don't smoke that. I only smoke that. And that's fine. Again, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Yeah. We make a lot of cigars because people have different preferences. So, yeah, it's not too bad, but I think...
It's funny, Macanudo's too mild, and yet here we are smoking the Crew Royale, which is not mild at all. It's definitely way outside of that. This thing's been around for more than 10 years, and it's great, and it's fuller bodied.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would say more medium plus, but like really, really a spectacular blend. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in another video, but I want to ask you guys to comment and join this conversation. Nobody gets to go online without hearing someone else's opinion anymore.
Yeah.
It's always there, right?
Yeah, and it is. And you just want to be respectful and understand that it does affect people in different ways. Mm-hmm. And just even something that's small or petty, it's like, hey, man, I'm just out here trying to do a good job. Like, I want everybody to be happy.
Right.
I always strive for everybody to like me, and I know that's just not possible. And it's hard. It's hard to grapple with that. It's like, I don't know. It's hard because I like the internet. I like social media. I like being able to connect with people. But then sometimes I really have to just stay out of the comment section. Not like on my posts or anything, but I'll go to public posts and I'll read the comment section. I'm like, holy
dear God. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Get me out of there.
Yeah. So it's just, doing what works for you and what works for your brand, and, understanding that constructive criticism is, always going to be there, and unconstructive
it's always going to be there.
It's always going to be there.
And it's always going to be there when no one can punch you in the face for saying it.
Yeah.
And it won't be there when they can.
Yeah.
Like if you go out in the lounge, the same stuff that is said online in comments of some videos or that people will post in a video, like they won't say that same stuff in a lounge where I can look at them and say, just say that again to my face. And, It's one of those things about people.
Yeah. What is it, the Taylor Swift song where it's like, 7 a.m. and you're on Twitter, bashing me or whatever, like it's too early.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, for everybody watching, I'll ask you guys, do drop a comment down below. How do you deal with criticism online? Like, obviously, it's a part of all of our lives. And Laurel and I have got some more content to make today, so we're going to do that. Expect more videos coming out from Laurel and me, and we're going to talk next about the Crew Royale. So
yes.
That'll be a lot of fun. All right, guys, if you haven't done so, subscribe and check out this video to get even more out of it on cigarsdailyplus.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Tim and Laurel signing off for Cigars Daily. See you all in the comments.